ahead, slowing down and taking no time. I gotta keep it rolling. Those windshield.
Welcome, everybody, to the Rideshare Rodeo Gig Worker Roundtable that we do every Thursday night, Season 2, Episode 2, but actually Episode 129. We have, of course, on the far end of me, Kim's Side Money Plans. We have Cheyenne's back, Gig Work Mama. We got Tom Kelly in Houston. And we have Michelle back again from last week. Michelle joined us. And if you guys are still not familiar and you do delivery, make sure to go over and check out both of Michelle's groups. I put them in the show notes of last week, but I'll put them in the show notes again this week. If you do DoorDash especially, she has the two. I mean, I don't even know if anybody even contests or even comes close. Does anybody even come close?
Well, okay, so we're a private page. There's one public that maybe has about as many, but it's just a dumpster fire. You know, you can,
right? Yeah.
If anybody even monitors it. So,
right. Because I was gonna say, like in Michelle's group, like when I go on, I don't do Facebook much, but when I do, because she gave me the admin privileges, I see posts that I probably would let go, but I kind of just hesitate on them because there's so many, and they always need approval. There's always like hundreds in there that need approval.
yes.
So I mean, I do appreciate that, because once you let things get out of hand, like you said about this, I don't even know about the other group, but the public one, I honestly think even moderators, if there are any, give up. They just go, forget it, dude. Why would I moderate some of this? And you know, if it's not being moderated by all, and if you can just constantly go back and see trash, I honestly think some of those even are abandoned.
Yes, I think we are. Jake, who's kind of a co-administrator with me, I think he's done some research as well. I think but there's no shortage of them. In fact, when people don't like the way we're running our group, we'll just tell them, go start your own.
Yeah.
there's plenty of them.
But no, I know. And yeah, go ahead.
I would say that sounds like us on YouTube. Oh, you complain? I'll go watch another channel. Same concept, except in the Facebook group.
Well, even when Michelle was first like telling me, like when I was asking her questions though, like I was like, do I approve this? Do I approve this? Because like to me, I'm thinking I do approve those, but then she's like, well, you gotta be careful of this, and she really was bringing it around to me, like, you know, this is actual work to admin these groups.
Well, you have to be careful because there's so many Facebook triggers, and
yeah, exactly.
And I'll tell you, everybody wants to use the word like stupid, idiots. They want to criticize support, and you know, it's a third world country, and make fun of being an immigrant. You know, and we can't go there with people. You know, and so like, try being nice to support. I don't know why everybody hates support. Is it that way everywhere? You tell me.
Pretty much. I mean, I do. I mean, I wouldn't go around posting about it, but I'm not a fan of any support. I think I can honestly say that I don't think any support knocks it out of the park.
Anytime
or even does what I would call a great job and leaves me satisfied with an answer after communicating with them.
I think it depends on the employee.
8-9 people up if there ever is a resolution that I would be happy with.
No, but anytime
I've had some nice employees.
No, but anytime I hear roosters in the background, I have a hard time like concentrating on what I need to talk to the support associate about. I remember like one time a year ago, I was in the middle of telling this lady what was wrong, and I'm like, is that roosters in the background? And she goes, yes, there is. And I'm like, oh, okay.
See, if support agents are smart and they've ever caught this, us talking about this, they have like a recording of a rooster.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're just pressing play, like, okay, just play the rooster and the cow. And
like seriously though, like how unprofessional is that? Like you're dealing with a problem and you're cock-a-doodle-doo in the background and you're like, what the heck is going on?
That might be in their house. Even.
It might.
Who would do that? Now stop that.
I wonder who would do that.
Oh, Tom, I think you just made my day right there.
That's what you need when you call support. If they have a rooster them back.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. That could work.
All right. Enough of that. Let's say hi to everybody in here because I see a bunch. What's up, Traveler? Hey, Rick. Hey, Bubba Sue. Hey, Anthony, how are you? Even Oscar, how you doing? Thomas Mathis. Ceci, how are you? Becky Harris. Let's see who else is in here. Hey, Holly, how are you doing? And that's who we got. And some lurkers. Hey, lurkers. Always happy to have the lurkers too. And Twitter. Sorry, you're not even seeing this because Twitter pulled some BS we were talking about backstage with StreamYard. We're going to need to get to the bottom of that because, the solution doesn't really work for me. Though, put real bluntly, in case you're over here from Twitter and you normally do watch us on Twitter, because we were starting to get a good growth too. I was telling Kim on her Tuesday night, I watch it from Twitter, her Tuesday night live, and I was telling her she had 15, 16, 17 people in there sometimes. Well, not anymore. Now you have to buy that Twitter Blue check mark to be able to stream to Twitter. So I thought the Twitter Blue check mark literally just meant you can write very long tweets because it doesn't edit them. So you're not character limited. You can write a whole, this is why a lot of writers love it. I knew it gave you the ability to go to Twitter Spaces, which is their version of a live, but it's so much different and interactive on Twitter Spaces that I don't see why they took away the ability for StreamYard to be able to stream to Twitter. That doesn't make any sense.
To me, I feel
They
like
want
it's
people to.
Sorry, Cheyenne, go ahead.
No, I was saying they want people to be able to. They want that extra stream of income, right? So now everyone that wants to stream, if it's worth it for them, then they're gonna go get Twitter Blue.
Yeah, but at the so Twitter Blue does give you much better features. My thought has always been like, of course they allow it on this level because it's like the entry level and it's keeping an audience on Twitter. So I mean, you would think they would want to have like this entry level thing that allows me to stream and keep people engaged.
Yeah, everyone's trying to see different ways that they can bring people in. You know, all these platforms are coming out with subscriptions. They're all coming out with like so many different ways that people will pay to be able to access these new features. This is just the next thing.
StreamYard, you've been warned. I will be seeing you at Podcast Movement in DC, and I am coming to your booth first, and we are going to have a long discussion about the pricing and what you guys took away when you sold StreamYard, because you took away some admin privileges, you took away some other things on all of the different tiers, but what you didn't change was the pricing. You took things away, but you didn't change the pricing. So we're gonna have to have a talk about some things. So just be warned, because I know some of the people there are very informed. Some of them are newbies, and I've been to a couple podcast movements and I've had both. And newbies usually get scared when I come up because I have a lot of questions. So what's up, Gigwise? What's up, Caleb? What's up, Dashing Maverick or Goose? And everybody else that is joining us. By the way, if you guys don't know who Dashing Maverick is, or you never watched his things, he got me once, and I'm going to real quickly explain this and then we're moving on. But he is Dashing Maverick. He's in Texas, but he's also Goose, and he has these two channels, and I didn't know that he was the same person. So I got into a stream of Dashing Mavericks, and it was very strange because everybody in the chat even was going along with this. And he was like, wait, what do you mean Goose is at my house? My kids are there alone. And I was going, what the hell are you? Get over there and save your kids. Like I was like losing my mind because I'm going, what are you doing? And it's like his alter ego. It's him. But it took this whole, it took me days to figure this out. And
two different channels?
Yeah. So but he was saying how he had this whole story about how this Goose was this homeless dude who follows him around, and I was like a stalker, and he's like, yes, he's a stalker. He's absolutely a stalker. And he's like, oh, he's at my house right now looking at my kids through the window. I'm like, dude, go home. What are you doing on a live stream? And so they still didn't tell me. They let this go on for days. And then in a comment, he just replied with, "Oh no, you should go watch this one video. You'll get it all."
That's funny.
But it's
That's
like
funny.
Goose and Maverick from like Top Gun type of thing.
See,
That was funny.
anyway, what's up, everybody? So tonight, California Prop 22 finally confirmed New York City lockout. Single sauce packets, not tipping backfires, and more tonight on the roundtable. So let's go with the first one because the first one's a big one.
Huge.
I agree, huge, and it's finally. I mean, this is the only state in the nation that could even potentially maybe find a way to not have this be over, but it is finally over. At this point, it's done. The constitutional challenges are gone. Everything's gone. Everything's done. Like, if you guys aren't aware of Prop 22, there were like 3 different groups. There weren't 2. There wasn't a group fighting for it and a group against it. There was also a group who approved it, but thought we're not getting what we really want out of it. So we're going to be this subgroup. And they sued the California Constitution saying that, or the companies saying that they weren't following the California Constitution. So there's been like 5-6 court cases going on around Prop 22 since it hatched. The big problem is that 60% of the California people vote on this proposition, but now they call it the corporate proposition. And they made, even the wording makes it sound like, well, it's only in law because the corporates made. No, it's not. It was voted on. And 60% of California, a state that normally would not vote for corporate-backed initiatives, did vote for this. So how you take it out of their hands, I don't know. The constitutional challenge is over, and finally the ballot measure stands. You in California are independent contractors. I know that many people were hoping that this would be overturned. Also, the overturning of this for those that do the deeper dive, like I've done with many people, would have meant the end of AB 5. Because if this got overturned, there would have been a whole argument there too. But AB 5 people still suffer. There's still 608 careers livelihoods, whatever you want to call it, self-employment, ended because of AB 5. So Prop 22 was the exemption for gig workers. It now stands in California. And I also have to, I mean, Tom said huge. Tom and I have been talking about this for a long time. I know Kim has too. We all have. But I mean, they literally would. Can you imagine the issue they would have had if they would have said, okay, because first of all, the companies might have left. But even if they had stayed, if they had said, okay, you're all employees now, because we don't need to go too far down this rabbit hole. We all know this. But can you imagine the illegal accounts that immediately would have been like, excuse me, I'm not working legally on this? Because that would have been a whole nother problem for California. And to be honest, they can't afford that right now. So this is Kim Cavan's post from today. Prop 22 is upheld. Uber and Lyft can keep classifying California drivers as independent contractors after the state's top court, which I also find funny, just because California and top court they don't go together. But anyway, said a company-backed law passed by voters doesn't wrongfully curtail the legislator's power over worker protections. I don't know, Tom, you got any insights on this? Because the group, by the way, that's been fighting it still is the SEIU, which is the let's get it right, because there's 2 SEIUs in this country. This is the gig worker one, right? This is the Service Employees International Union.
Right.
And they've been saying that so last year to the appeals court, they said that, Prop 22 improperly limited the legislators' exclusive power to regulate the state's worker compensation law.
Okay, so stop right there. I find that an amazing argument from them, because it wasn't a member of the state legislature that came and said, you're impeding on our work. You are doing it wrong for us. It was somebody who they just grabbed something that they thought would work, and it didn't work.
Right, because I think we can all at least imagine the fact of their best shot. I mean, this is like Tom said, this is like their last row. This is like it. This is the Hail Mary. And the best idea they had was to go after the workers' comp, because they figured maybe we can get some like people behind us on that one. Hey,
that's what I think. I think they were doing this simply to get some of the state legislature to say, yes, that's it. You stepped on my toes. You know, this is a division of powers, separation of powers argument that was a ridiculous argument.
Yeah, I agree. But I am glad to see it finally over. At the end, it is a weird. So there's a few articles out. I mean, there's tons of them out on this today, obviously. But the one I'm looking at from Reuters at the end is in the last two paragraphs. It talks about Minnesota and then it talks about Massachusetts. And I'm just going to read these because they're very short. Yeah. But it talks about this relating. The whole article says in two spots it says gig workers, but in most of it it keeps talking about rideshare. And Prop 22 is not a rideshare bill. It's a gig worker bill for everybody. In fact, all the delivery people were the ones that they weren't even thought of when it was put in place because the pandemic wasn't even known when they made this law. So it hadn't started. Nothing was going on. It went into effect in January 2020. We didn't even know about the pandemic till March. And then, so, I mean, they didn't know that all these would fall under it, but they keep talking about it like it's rideshare and here's what it means. But really, it's all the others that actually collect from it. But moving on to the other states, it says Minnesota lawmakers passed a measure in May that would set a minimum wage of $1.28 per mile and 31 cents per minute for gig drivers, replacing a higher minimum adopted by Minneapolis that spurred Uber and Lyft to threaten to cease operating in the city. And in June, we know this, Uber and Lyft agreed to adopt a $32.50 hourly minimum wage for drivers in Massachusetts and pay $175 million. And you guys, for those of you that think that that's a drop in the bucket for Uber, it's not. That's a lot of money, even for them, when they have to come up with a cash cow like that. To settle a lawsuit by the state claiming they improperly treated drivers as independent contractors, which is weird. So now they're going to remain independent contractors. They're going to make for active time, they're going to make $32.50 an hour. And they had to pay $175 million for wrongfully classifying the drivers as independent contractors, which they are still classified as. The AG also is getting behind after she made this agreement with Uber. She thinks she's slick enough that she's backing the proposal that the drivers are saying, kind of like the California people, like, this isn't enough. We want to be able to unionize. And she's like, good, let's put that on the proposal. The deal was all these proposals go away if we make this deal. So I think that by poking the bear, I think you're going to find yourself in a jam when this is supposed to go into effect. I think you're going to find Uber and Lyft definitely digging into some real, well, nope, you made a ballot initiative after we made a deal. So I wouldn't count on it happening. And if it does happen, guys, we have seen this enough times. It's not like once or twice now. Don't count on that being your hourly pay.
Right.
In fact, tonight we'll be talking about driver lockouts at a point. And to be honest, these kind of things are killing drivers. So $32.50 is never going to be what you make. And the Boston drivers I know who drive in the city make way more than that. So we already know about floor meets ceiling. The hustlers will lose money. The people who just kind of perch will tear up a bit, but nobody's going to actually make this on real time. And they've opened the door to the unions. So, I mean, like, it very well, Boston could end up like New York City at least in the next calendar year for sure. But yeah, so that was that one. Let's see. I did have some, the Kim screenshot. And then, yeah, we might as well just move into it right now. So then we need to talk about this Uber and Lyft drivers take to the New York streets to call for an end to the lockout policies, because I have a big problem with this. I have a huge problem with this, actually. So you guys are not, okay, it looks like they had a turnout. They say 1,000 people. In New York, organizers say more than 1,000 Uber and Lyft drivers marched in the streets this week, which was actually, was it last week? Because it was July 19th. To protest the company's unfair pay rules, Uber has started locking workers out of the app during low demand periods in order to avoid paying them for idle time between rides. Lyft is threatening to do the same. Workers say this not only costs them wages, but makes it impossible to have a reliable work schedule. The anti-worker move was implemented as a workaround to New York City's rules that require rideshare companies to pay the drivers when they are on the clock, even if they are not actively driving around passengers. So here's my problem with this. This all started off as active time, and now it's moved to when you are on, you're getting paid. That is employment. That isn't even beating around the bush. That's a W-2 employment job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just clock on. I mean, so here's my thing. You guys are you guys wanted this crazy way of doing things. You pushed, you got it. And of course it'll get modified over time. But this is I would tell every city to watch out for this this is what happens when you regulate the space. You're going to have this crap happen because now all these people are saying, well, I used to just be able to turn it on. Now I can't. Now I got to schedule blocks. Now I can schedule a block and I might go to that block and they say, hey, we don't have enough volume for you tonight. We don't need you. What? Right. So now they're saying, now I don't even know if I'll be able to work the blocks that I schedule. So I can't make any money. Well, you asked, I hate to say it because maybe a lot of drivers are like me in New York City and didn't want this, but the big push, you guys asked for it.
Yeah.
I agree with you. However, if you're one of the drivers who did not want this to happen, but now you're forced to work a schedule. And from what I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, say like now with Uber, you have to schedule yourself on Uber because it's New York City, right? New York City is trying the whole block schedule thing.
As far as I know, it might be all, I mean, I don't know about like an Instacart, but DoorDash, Uber Eats, yeah.
Right. But if I, as a driver, have scheduled a 4, 5, 6, 8 hour block, and because Uber and Lyft deem that it's not busy and kick me off of my schedule, and I'm counting on working X amount of hours, I would be really pissed as a driver because you're taking money away from me, even though I did the appropriate things to make sure I was on the schedule. I would have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
But here would be the argument, and Kim, you've worked in the service industry, is that I would say, listen, I've been a manager at a bar. I've had bartenders or servers come in on a Friday night. I've got 2 servers on the floor. I got 3 bartenders on, and they're like, oh, it's not that busy, huh? And I'm like, just sit around for like a half hour. I'll buy you dinner. Let them have a free meal out of it and say, if I need you in a half hour or I'll cut you loose. And a lot of times I would just cut them loose, meaning they have that schedule. But if I don't have the volume of customers, I'm not going to put them on.
No, in retail by law, you can't just.
Yeah, we had the minimum.
You and say you have.
But like, this is service industry. But I'm talking about service industry, and service industry here would be the same. Like if you don't have a need, why would you pay them to sit idle?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe New Jersey laws are different. If you're scheduled for X amount of hours, you still have to be guaranteed to work X amount of hours if you're put on a schedule. Like it's part of our laws, our employment laws.
Well, but in the service industry, there's a thing called phasing. So all of the schedules would have like 7 p.m. to phase, meaning when I need to phase you out, I phase you out.
Oh, we don't have that here.
No, not here in New Jersey. It's in New Jersey. According to New Jersey laws, if you're scheduled for, I'm making this up, 9 to 2. Yeah, like you have to work 9 to 2 unless it's the employee voluntarily saying I'm sick and I have to go home. Like that's a different story. But if you're on a schedule, you have to work the schedule and you have to be paid for the schedule.
So that's employment law. What's crazy about that is that we never put an end time on. So like if I was doing your schedule, Kim, it would say Kim 2 p.m. Tuesday, Kim 5 p.m. Friday, Kim 7 p.m. Saturday, Kim 4 p.m. Sunday. And yes, it doesn't have an expiration time. So you're just you're basically on call. So that's why you want to work at high volume places.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because also you're getting service industry pay. So if you're a bartender, you're getting $2.13 an hour. So you're not going to make any money sitting around like that either. You need high volume. Without volume, there's no money to be made. But I would imagine you have in New Jersey, you have a different minimum wage for bartenders, servers, things like
I would assume so. I
people.
don't know what it is. I would have to Google
Yeah.
it. I mean, maybe bartender servers might be different than regular employment laws. I just know employment laws from a retail and also from like a corporate standpoint. Just from my HR background, the service industry, bartender servers might be completely different.
Yeah. Well, I guess in this scenario, who on this panel thinks there's a solution? I mean, what is the solution? Because even I'll say, like, I'm not here promoting Uber and Lyft, not at all. I mean, we can talk through like ways to earn and things about them, but like, who can actually disagree with them? Why would they pay drivers just to be able to turn the app on? We all work in all the other cities, all the cities all of us work in. We turn on the apps and we get the orders we get. And the work we do is the orders we get. We don't get paid for our downtime.
Yeah, I don't see how that, and even if, so let's say someone's like, yeah, they should pay them for their downtime. At the end of the day, that it's not going to be profitable for them anymore. Like at all. Because look at how much downtime we actually have whenever we're out there. There's no way that there's any company that can afford that.
Yeah. And especially this, I mean, like, so most of these drivers are on both platforms. So are you trying to milk it like the California thing did with the Prop 22, where you're getting like both of them are paying you? I don't know. I think the idle time was the worst decision that they ever put in. And I guess I'm going to say this. I'm not surprised New York did this. New York, Uber, Lyft, New York. I'm not surprised they did this. This should come as a shock to nobody. Of course they did this. You know? And I'm sure that, listen, I'm also sure that, if you're a driver of rideshare in New York City, I'm sure that it never talks about it, but I'm sure they have like a zero, like you probably can't pass on fares. You have to accept whatever's thrown your way. Because if they're being paid for idle time, it's not like they're going to let you go, oh, you want this one?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because otherwise you're paying them the minimum wage anyway. So my guess is it's kind of like DoorDash earned by time, where it's like you get one.
Employee. Like if that's the case,
exactly.
you really are an employee. Like they're telling you where to go, who to pick up, what hours to work, what hours not to work. Like, yeah, you're an employee. You're not there's no such thing as an independent contractor at that point, because you're at the beck and call of whatever company it is.
I know. And that's where I think we are. I think that literally in New York City, that's going to be I think that's where it's at. It's going to either have to finally say you're employees, or we have to break this rule because you can't pay for idle time, and it's affecting passengers and everybody. So, I mean, the whole idea behind Uber was that the car's, positioning and getting the closest. And so, taking away all those kind of freedoms, like Kim just said, you're just an employee and you're going to be told what to do. So to that, I say, like, again, I'm not trying to I'm sure that like most states, most people didn't want this. However, their voices were not made heard, and the people who did want this were heard. So what did they do? They passed it because they thought everybody wanted this. Once you get enough of that, even if they know it's not enough, that's when the unions come in and go, okay, we got this. And that's a concern of mine. But yeah, I mean, that said, while we're on this little tirade of like bringing things down, I had somebody from California send me this. This is Instacart regarded. This is now talking about, because somebody was asking me if you're not familiar, Kim and I are doing a safety campaign right now with Display Ride and with Legal Rideshare, because of everything going on, and just these are good people, obviously, but it's a time when everybody needs to really know what's going on. And here's an example of somebody had asked me, well, am I covered with Instacart? No, you're not. And in here it says that you may be eligible for coverage when you are on the Instacart app for injury and protection, but your vehicle is not covered at all. This is why some people ditch their vehicles. So shopper injury protection doesn't cover damage to automobile or property. Again, You know, basically, I had this conversation with somebody on Twitter, and I'll tell you that the bottom line is they don't do anything for you. If something happens, if your car gets stolen on Instacart, good luck. Because a lot of people I know, and I'll actually say I have actually spoken with people, I've had them on the audio podcast, who actually, one in particular that I won't take any farther. You guys can go find the episode if you want, but this Instacart driver had his car stolen. He timed himself out, or, you know, whatever, got off the app, however, had the food delivered by another car, had to call a friend, did that, waited till it was delivered, finished it out properly, ended it, then said his car was stolen from his home because he knew his insurance wouldn't even have him back while he was working Instacart.
That's why you need legal rideshare.
But I mean, like, even them, like, I mean, I've talked to Bryant before, and he's even said, listen, Instacart's one of the worst. You're not protected at all with Instacart. I mean, your personal injury stuff, that's different, but like your car, no, they don't. You guys just be careful, you know, treat it like you do every day of your life. Your car isn't protected by these companies, and they don't really care. They don't have your back. But okay, that moves us into a DoorDash story that Michelle brought up, that we have for tonight, the single sauce packet. And I know a lot of you guys know this. I'm going to let Michelle tell the story because or do you not want to? Or how the scam goes? Because I'm a little confused. There's a part of this scam that kind of just, okay. I guess
I don't know the story. I don't know the story at all. So tell me.
Okay. So we'll come back to my issue with it, but basically it's one of those scams where they want to get you on the phone and then get your information from you. So what they do is they put in an order for a hot sauce pack. I want one hot sauce pack from Taco Bell. Okay. First of all, if you get that, no, that's weird. There's probably something wrong with it. Don't take it. But so in this one, this is a weird scenario because I don't think this is always the case, but the person who had this happen to him most recently, and whenever this happens, I think it's always good to bring to your attention because I think most of you guys know this, but he got a call. So he picked it up, and then he got a call from what came up as DoorDash on his phone. But this is where it gets a little weirder because this time it wasn't somebody saying I'm with DoorDash. It was somebody saying they were a detective for the Houston Police Department. And he's saying that the order was placed fraudulently on the card. And basically the person who was the officer began asking for his card number information. Hey, can you pull over? Let's do a 3-step verification, blah, blah, blah. You guys, for a fact, I think everybody on this panel can tell you DoorDash does not call you ever.
Do people actually fall for, like, I just don't understand how people are still actually falling for this.
Yes.
Like
Because
and they get their accounts wiped out.
Definitely do.
Yes, and their accounts get wiped out. Those Dasher, if you have one of those Dasher direct cards, dump it. Those accounts get wiped out all the time. I mean, every single day, I probably have 25 requests saying, help me, my account got wiped out from a scam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I feel the same as Kim, but I understand what Michelle's saying.
And there's no protection. There's no bank protection on those Dasher cards, from what I understand.
No, I mean, because the other part is you're dealing with DoorDash. I mean, none of us want to deal with, like we were joking earlier, you know, about roosters and like, honestly, like none of us even want to deal with DoorDash to get $5. Can you imagine trying to like, hey, my whole bank account was wiped out?
Right.
Like, do you want to deal with that?
Usually it's around $200. That seems to be the amount that people get taken for, is about $200. But the sauce pack thing, it's been going on for probably 2 years. The story just gets cycled around, and this week is this a dude with gold chains on in the video?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a new one, and it gets submitted to our group about 5 times every hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
so
and he's
my thing is why how are they getting these like if they're able to they're penetrating the DoorDash system, obviously, to put a packet order in there, because obviously it doesn't involve money, but still, like, I can't make an order for a hot sauce packet.
I'm gonna look. I think that one of our moderators did a whole detailed issue on it, and I'm gonna look it up right now and see if I can find
But I
it.
mean, like, I can't open up. I don't use DoorDash ever. I don't
Mhm.
like DoorDash. So, but like, if I opened up the DoorDash app, I can't just say I want a hot sauce packet from Taco Bell. They won't let me do that.
Really?
No, you have to order something.
But isn't there?
No, I think you can. I think you can though, because I think you can just go over to sauces and add sauces into your cart
without another item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Well, there's a cost.
Yeah, like in like McDonald's, like, you know how you have your categories like burgers, sandwiches, fries, whatever. There's like an actual category that says sauces, and you can just add sauces into your cart.
But aren't they free?
No,
I don't know. I've never ordered DoorDash. I mean, McDonald's through DoorDash. I just know that I've seen it before.
Right.
I mean, I can try to do it now.
Why wouldn't you at least try and make it look real? Like, order a taco and a hot sauce.
Well, I don't have Taco Bell, but I know for Harvey's, because I've done this before, where I wanted hot sauce and they charge you sometimes. So you just go to sauce and it's something like 30 cents or 35 cents or whatever, and you add it in. So I'm sure people can order just sauce packets.
Hold on, I'm
right, and then you'll get all the fees, and so like a sauce packet would still be like $7. But
exactly.
But somehow I'm sure these people are getting away from the payment because they don't catch everybody in this scam. So somehow they penetrated DoorDash in my opinion anyway.
Okay, so on mine it's 15 cents for, I'm making this up, ranch dipping sauce. I just put it into my cart. I think I just put it in my cart. Where did I just go? Condiments. 2, 3. Add to order. Let's see. Wonder what the delivery fee is on this for 30 cents. Let's see. Continue. Okay, so for 3 packets, it's 45 cents and 0 delivery fee, but $3 in taxes. So it'd be $3. So you can.
Right.
You can just order sauces.
But basically, you're just paying the delivery fee. You're getting the sauce for free.
For the most part, yeah. But it's doable. I mean, the only reason why I semi-know is because I went into and this is like a month, maybe 2 months ago, I went into my local McDonald's, and they know me by name by now. And they're like, Kim, we got an order for like ranch sauce and ketchup packets, and Asher actually picked it up. And I'm like, it was a scam.
I found it.
So before Michelle tells us this, Ellen says that she had a single sauce packet delivery, was afraid it was a scam, but she delivered it and got a tip.
Nice.
Okay, this was from one of our moderators, and he's pretty reliable. He said the scam is that they are ordering something like that, like a one item. Then they can click like a sauce packet or apple slices. So be aware of apple slices, guys. Then they call you by clicking on Call My Dasher button. Then they claim to be with Dasher support and use a variant of this order isn't legit. Since they know the customer's name, the order is from, and what the order was, many drivers think this is actually support. The scammer then asks you to verify your phone number so they can process a payment to you for the hassle. When you give them your phone number, then they then ask you for a verification code that is texted to you. If you've given them all this info, they can now access your Dasher account, which is what they're going for, because they've requested a password reset, and the verification code is to prove that they have access to your phone. Then they can change the phone number, email, and bank information for your account.
Yeah.
Wow.
Again, guys, I would never give any information out. Look, on Bud Soda says that they contact him a lot. Okay, that's one example. They've never called me. If they did, I would. I'm trying to just give any kind of like maybe what I would do, and you guys can do what you want. But I would say, can you email that to me? Can we keep this more professional? I've heard of these scams, things
That
like
is the
that.
scam. That's
Right,
the
but I mean, I would
scam.
say that to the scammer. I've heard of
That's the
scams like this,
scam.
so I'd like
That's how,
that's
how
you to
you lose
email
your
me,
account
please. Yeah.
as well. And that's how all these accounts are getting because people fall for it. Because I can tell you that if you tell a Dasher, hey, I'm going to give you a few bucks, they're going to do anything they can. I can't believe what people will do for $2 and $3. It bewilders me. I'm dumbfounded by it.
Yeah.
And
I
as
have
far as they'll go to get
in
$2 or $3.
not in Kim's live, but in my live tonight, I have in the YouTube, I have a poll up that says, would you enter somebody's house doing DoorDash? And we've been talking about that a bit, and I still haven't even looked at the results so far. But to be honest, hopefully you guys are not doing that, because if you're thinking all the burden lies on the homeowner, just think again, because even though it would probably work out for you, they're not going to cover you in court. And if it went to court or if anything happened, you're not bonded properly to be in people's houses.
Check your results. It's actually
27 votes. Yeah, 27 votes, 56% no.
So, but that's pretty close, though.
That's very close.
It's close, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people doing it.
That's so scary.
I mean, Kim, have you seen these? I know you talked about it.
I haven't seen them. It's not in my market. The reason why I was talking about it, because someone actually sent it to me. No, it is so ridiculously unsafe. $3 is not worth the liability. A customer can say that you stole something. A customer can say that you broke something. There's so many things that can go wrong. You can get kidnapped. Your safety is at risk. No, you can get bit by a dog. You can fall on marbles because a kid left them out. Like, there's so many scenarios that can go wrong.
You could end up in the basement in a well, like that movie, Silence of the Lambs.
No,
I mean,
$3 is not worth it. Like we talked about it like months ago. What was it, October? Like, it just I just kept thinking of that poor guy, and it was Uber Eats, but that poor guy who got dismembered because he got yanked into someone's house. No, it's so unsafe.
No, I agree. What is this? I like even Aska's answer here. She once got a call, and when she was asked for the phone number, she told them, "You should know it. You just called me."
Yeah.
I mean, again, if it was a customer, it would be masked, but she makes a great point, because if it's DoorDash, they would know your number.
I would tell them it's 867-5309.
Right.
I would just be like 555-555-5555.
Exactly.
See, my mom is a real important woman. I guess you already know that.
Now he places the lotion in the basket.
Yeah, exactly. That's where you don't want to be. That's absolutely where you don't want to be. And then, so real quick before we move into this one, I did want to say, like, Kim, you brought up the term distinct, and I saw it again in a Twitter feed. Somebody was asking about what distinct meant.
Yes.
And again, it's just, I know it's random, but to me, it's just another way that they're not being transparent, when again, there's already terms that establish this stuff. There's unit and item count. So, like, why the hell are you going out and creating a new term, distinct? That
because they want to be unique, and they want to be DoorDash, and they want to confuse drivers. So when they look at it, like when because I've just done my own research on it, and this is what I've deducted. I don't have any concrete information, but like when you actually go, it says, I'm making this up, 10 distinct items. So when you go, you only have 30 seconds to make a choice. You're like, oh, 10 items, that's not bad. I'll shop the 10 items. But when you go in, it's now like 22 items, because they're saying, well, there's 10 distinct items, but yet there's 22 units altogether. So they're not using the terminology that we're all used to on all the other platforms. And you think it's one way and it's not. But if you have time, 35 seconds isn't a lot. You can hit the arrow and you can see all the items you're shopping for. And sometimes DoorDash drivers don't know that you can go in and see it right on the offer screen.
Yeah, it's like I had somebody asking me, and I don't know why they're asking me because I barely do it, but I did notice it's back. You can now touch the house again and see the address.
Yes.
Like, I think
Yes.
that's
Well,
pretty cool.
They were testing Bing Maps, and when they were using the Bing Maps, you couldn't see it for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
so I mean
that was a
that's back
big
in there
deal.
too. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, distinct. So like to me, that it gets real bad because what if I'm like coaching a little league team and I need 25 gallons of water? Just that one thing. Is that going to come up as one distinct item?
Yeah.
But you're going to get there and need to carry 25 gallons of water for me?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to, unless you like are inquisitive. Like, I'm always inquisitive. I'm like, what is DoorDash doing now? So like, I just start hitting things, and that's how I'm like, oh, you can actually see what the items are. So I think DoorDash thought that they were doing a good thing. They're like, oh, they can see all the items on the offer screen. Well, you have to go digging in order to really find it. And yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This follows in what we're doing here. So a woman orders Wingstop. I do find this, like, this is one of those, we read a lot of the Daily Dot ones, and I got to tell you, this one actually like did buzz with me a little bit because this lady ordered through Wingstop. She ordered at 6 p.m. and she said, or 5, and she said she wanted it delivered at 7 or 6 and 8, whatever it was. And this is kind of odd to me, and maybe somebody will be able to shed some light on this, because Wingstop confirmed to her, hey, we've got your order at 6. We use an online food delivery app called DoorDash. They will be delivering the order. Let's see. She got a text at 7:35 that her dasher was waiting at the restaurant and waiting for her food. She checked again at 8:15 because we still hadn't received our food. She stresses that she tries to give the restaurant grace because you don't know what's going on at the moment. Yet another 15 minutes went by. Now it's 8:38, and she says she decided to call Wingstop. She talked to a gentleman at Wingstop who said, ma'am, your food has been sitting here for 30 minutes and there is not a dasher waiting here for your food. But she had a dasher's name attached to it at 7:38. She decides to go over there and pick the food up herself. She gets there at 8:49. She sees a DoorDash driver pulling in. She thinks this is my driver, and she goes up and says, are you so-and-so? As the woman's coming out or getting the food. And so the person says yes, and she's obviously, the dasher's kind of a little taken. And she said, well, that's me, and I've been waiting for this for a long time. You had me sitting at home. And the driver stressed to her that she just got the order information and that she was just put on it like 10 minutes prior, which would make sense. That's how it works. However, it's the same name that was delivering it, and she verified with the person as the name they had put on it an hour ago. How would they on earth know that this is going to be the person delivering that?
Yeah, that's weird.
Does anybody have anything on this one? Because this one kind of blows my mind, because this person's dashing. They've assigned it to her, and we all know about reassigning, but they didn't even do that. It was still the same woman who they had been saying for an hour and 15 minutes, she's the one waiting for your food there.
That just sounds like a glitch, and like they assigned it to her, but it wasn't ready yet or something. So it didn't actually get pushed through.
7:38 went for an 8 o'clock order. They said it was her waiting at the restaurant for it.
No, I got a conspiracy theory. So what happens if there's something like Walmart Spark going on the DoorDash app, where you get a whole bunch of drivers who take the orders. Someone kind of stands there to hold the order, saying that they're just at the restaurant, and then the actual driver comes in to go grab the order. So they might have just come in, but they're trying to grab as many of the orders as possible to flood markets.
I hear what you're saying. I guess I don't read this one as that way. But I hear you. I mean, it could be. I mean, I was just reading other articles on that kind of play, but I just didn't really get it that way. Like I found this to be kind of weird. Like, why is it that same person for an hour?
Because if I'm
sitting there and they can, because I get they got the 10 phones and then they just dish out the phones and the orders as the person comes. I know the scam, but I just find it weird because the guy, when she called, the guy said there's no DoorDashers here. So is it just somebody sitting out in the parking lot accepting all the orders? And
conspiracy theory. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it could.
Right. I mean, I guess to add to your conspiracy, it would be that that she's sitting out in the car with 10 phones, or somebody is.
Yeah, I think it's a ring.
Like Wingstop looked around. There's no DoorDasher, but they're out in the parking lot grabbing all the orders.
Yeah, and then they have to wait for the actual available driver to come and get the order, but the phone is actually right there in the parking lot. Like they have one person, 10 different phones grabbing all the orders, but they actually have to wait for the driver who's actually on the order to come pick it up, but they already grabbed the order.
Yeah, Holly says or common name and not same driver. Yeah, I don't think it's that either. I don't know. No, just none of it makes sense. But then when they go down to how the people were like responding, so these are like the responses on the video. It was that I had the same damn issue when I ordered on Wingstop. One viewer added, had to call the store and they gave me grief about a refund, but eventually they did give me my money back. Another said, I refuse to use DoorDash. They don't even bother to try and find my apartment and just leave. They leave the food outside in random spots. All they have to do is walk around the building. It's a first floor outside door. We all know there's apartment issues, but if it's that easy, we really shouldn't be making it harder. Another viewer said it's because some drivers scam the system. They use bots or have people holding multiple phones, like Kim's saying. They accept all the orders and wait for someone they work with to show up, and then they hand the phone and the food to the person. So if it is that scam, it's being called out, which is good. But again, this is just trying to bring you guys up with a little bit of scams. And in fact, I think that before we go any farther, Kim, we should talk real quick about because again, guys, for the next month, it's safety time because there is more happening to people right now than ever. And I don't know if we start with legal rideshare or display ride, but you tee one up and I'll take the other.
Okay, well, I'll start with legal rideshare. So, guys, I think we both have been putting this up all week. Like every driver should have their number, and legalrideshare.com. I don't know their number off the top of my head, but it'll be in the description of this live as well. But everybody should have it programmed into their phone. They are literally lawyers specializing in gig workers, rideshare, and even food delivery. So if you're in an accident, personal injury, they are there, and call them first because they can, the free consultation first of all, but they can direct you in the appropriate way. And right now they are actually doing a survey and they need everybody's help in taking the survey because they're trying to collect as much data as possible. And if you take the survey, you could be entered to win $100. Is it a gift card, Steve? I can't remember. I know it's $100. I just can't remember if it's a gift card.
I think it's a Visa card. Prepaid.
Yeah, so go take the survey. That's also in the description of this live as well, but they're looking for as many people as possible to go take the survey.
Yeah, and you don't have to, again, guys, don't let legal rideshare throw you.
No.
Again, they don't do the deactivation cases and stuff anymore. There's a reason for that because they were coming in by the millions, but they do help guide you to the right people, or things that you should be pursuing in such cases. But if you are hurt, if you hurt somebody, if you're at fault, even, you actually want to call them. They know gig law the best. So you want to call them if you're in, and it doesn't matter if it's e-scooter, bike, whatever. And then as far as our friend Abdul goes at Display Ride, I've had Display Ride for 3 years now. I haven't had to replace the camera once. I am totally always happy that it's on, because I'm not even talking about just gig work, just when I'm driving. The way things are today, hit and runs, all this kind of stuff, like you need a dash cam, but on the off chance somebody tries to grab it, if you're doing rideshare, if you're doing delivery, probably not as often, but if somebody were to try and grab it, if 95% of the dash cams out there do cloud upload. So they've got the footage. If they grab it, it's gone. But with Display Ride, it's all uploaded to the cloud, and we'll be having these guys on. We might even try and get Legal Rideshare and Abdul from Display Ride on at the same time, because this push needs to happen as summer ends, because a lot of us go back to seeing a lot more and working a lot more. And when you're full time, you are the ones probably most at risk. So these are, like Kim said, have Legal Rideshare in your, just whatever you want to do. Put the phone number in, because they have a phone number, put the email in, put the website in, whatever you want. And then Display Ride, go to displayride.com. We'll have more to say about this too, but go to displayride.com, start becoming accustomed with it, and get on board and put in rodeo. It lets them know that Kim and I sent you their way, but even if you forget to put in rodeo, go there and get a camera. So that's how much, like, I don't even care. We don't even care if that's what it comes to and you forget the thing, but you will lose the discount, and that's something you probably want.
I feel like a lot of times, like, people think a lot of this is just for rideshare. Like, I don't do rideshare, but I have the Display Ride dash cam because I think it's so important. Like, it literally videos every one of my drop-offs, especially if I go into someone's driveway. Like, I feel so much safer having it, but it's not just for rideshare. Both of these, they're for all type of gig apps out there. So go check them out. And also don't forget our reaction tomorrow. What time are we releasing it? I can't remember.
We do it live at, I forget, 6:30.
6.
Or wait, no, I'm doing my time. Wait, is it 6:30 maybe? I don't know. You guys will, I think it's 6:30 is what we did, because they run 20 minutes and we do it in 30. So I was trying to tee us up to the top of an hour on a Friday. So
yeah.
But yeah, we'll see about that. So and what time that goes. But yeah, I mean, speaking of what's going on there, real quick, there was a grandparent scam. I won't get into how far this goes, but somebody used a rideshare driver to deliver $20,000 cash. Took it from a Hialeah couple, elderly couple that lives in Southwest Miami in Hialeah. And they were told, they got a call and were told to call an attorney. The elderly couple called the attorney and said that their grandson had been arrested and they need $18,500 cash put into boxes. And they're going to send a rideshare driver. I mean, the whole thing would sound sketchy to most of us. However, again, another scam that goes on. So just, don't fall for any of this crap. And if you're doing rideshare, this is why I've always said, don't do Uber Connect, because don't be taking packages. Again, you're not bonded. Maybe you are. If you're bonded, I guess you would probably understand that and make the best decision for yourself. But those of you that are not bonded, just don't do these, period. If you're going to pick up a couple and they're like, just take this box instead, don't do it. I mean, if they're not coming with it, don't do it. You could be in danger. Who knows what's in that box? But then I only want to hit on this briefly because it's mainly because I'm so pissed off at Uber on this one. There was a rideshare driver who sexually assaulted a 12-year-old. 12 years old. Okay. Uber teen, we've always said, worst decision they've ever made. Uber partners were never supposed to be driving unaccompanied minors around ever. That's been a thing. But now, this person took this 12-year-old, sexually assaulted her, and now he's arrested. And Uber's statement was, here's how bad it got. Uber came out and said, well, that wasn't a teen account. That was somebody using their parents' account on their phone. So that's not Uber teen. Don't blame it on Uber teen. Uber, for real. I mean, enough. Like, Uber teen shouldn't even exist, but don't say because they were 12, it wasn't Uber teen and it was their, How did that 12-year-old get the access to the account? You need to make it clear to all drivers they can't take teenagers like you used to. And then we won't have any of these problems. This is not the first time. This has been happening a lot since they launched Uber Teen. People have gone missing. People are dead. People are raped. This is not funny. It's not a game. And parents, stop using it. Stop. Don't. I see the ads all the time. I'm sure some of you have seen them on social media. Don't buy into those ads. They're bullshit. I'm going to call it what it is. I mean, it's bullshit. You are not. And again, you're in one of those positions. You're not protected.
Nope.
You know, I mean, your insurance is going to run, not walk. They're going to run from you. You're toxic as hell to them. They're going to say, be like, what were you doing taking a minor? And so, and even if the trip goes well, let's say you take a minor from A to B, drop them off. What if they later do claim that you sexually assaulted them and you didn't? Again, I just avoid it, you know? And if you see the Uber Teen account pop up, you can turn that feature off in your Uber, just turn it off. But if you see somebody that is a teenage, looks teenage age, just always ask for ID. You know, that is your right as an independent contractor. I need to see your ID to get into the car. Just make sure they're 18. That's how easy it is. So let's see, what else do we got here tonight? So I did have a story, but it seems so pale by comparison. But this there was a funny part to it. So there's this girl who decided that she's not going to tip on DoorDash anymore. She's like, I'm done. I'm tip fatigued. I'm done. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to try this. And the DoorDasher left her food like in a hidden spot and like left her some crumbs of like how to find it. But here's the worst part. She ordered raw salmon.
Oh God.
Hold on, because it gets better. The driver hides the food and puts it in the sun. And so she spent like 25 minutes looking for it. When she found it, the salmon was cooked.
Oh God.
Ew.
So she now says she will never not tip again. She apologized. So do you non-tippers? It is a thing. It is a thing. If you're wondering why you don't get your food, it's because even if you're tip fatigued, understand drivers don't get paid enough without the tip to even look at the order.
Drivers just don't take the order. Like I never understand this. Like, just don't take the order. Like, no one's forcing you to take that order. Don't take the order.
Right.
Yeah, but it might go back to like what you were saying, Kim, about somebody having 10 phones. And then just,
so
you take this one, you take this one, you take. I'm just saying those people are taking every order. They're not even looking.
But do they
or
even
maybe someone's trying to go for one of the tiers?
Do they even care if that there are no tip? They're just taking orders. So do they even care?
Right. They're trying to monopolize it. They're trying to make it so there are no orders because they've got them all.
I know, but that's my point. Like, they're just taking orders. So do they really care? That's my point. Like, they're just taking all the orders. They don't really care. To me, this is a very vindictive person who did this.
Yeah.
Or it's someone that's trying to go for like a tier or something. And then when they close off the order, they're like, what? No tip.
Yeah, but no, I would lean with Kim on this one and say that, listen, no tip. We all know don't take the no tips anyway, but these days, no tip could absolutely, forget the money part. It could absolutely become a story. There's going to be a story. There's going to be an accusation. You're going to get a complaint. You're going to get a 1-star. So not only are you taking a no tip order, you're really risking, I think, your account even.
Yeah. I've mentioned this on one of my videos. I think it was like one of the bad review videos or something. And someone was like, oh, I got a 1-star. And I was like, well, what's the quality of the order? Like, did it have a tip? Because if it doesn't have a tip, that person obviously does not care about you as a driver. So they're not going to care about putting 1 star as a review. Don't take those.
Right. Well, we've got I created a new little blurb that I put. And again, it's a marquee post in the morning, usually when someone says, hey, I took a $2 order and it went 6 miles and they didn't tip. So this is what I am now putting in as my standard response. You agreed to the pay offered when you accepted the order. You can't be mad because you got exactly what you agreed to. JFC. There is a decline button. It's like right there with the accept button in case you didn't realize. Fun fact, you can also let the order time out as well.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Good for you, Michelle.
I mean,
And
here's
yeah, Christopher Taylor's right when he says it's kind of hard to refuse an order when the acceptance rate is affected if you don't take it. And that's what I'm saying. Like for those drivers that are going for tiers, I get it.
I feel like there's a stigma behind that because I've said this before and I'm repeating myself, but I am a platinum dasher. You can decline as a high tier. Can you decline as much? No. I just know how it's kind of simple math. You know how many orders you do per week. You figure that out and you figure out your percentage on how much you can decline. For me, it's 2 to 3 orders per day. But if that's where multi-apping comes in, right? If you keep getting like bad orders, I just turn off the app and go to like Uber Eats or Instacart or whatever. Like nothing's saying you have to work DoorDash, multi-app, and get away from the acceptance rate if they keep giving you bad orders. Like that's how I maintain my high acceptance rate.
Yeah.
But you can decline.
Yeah. I want to play this 19-second video. I grabbed it from TikTok. It's another creator. You guys probably are not familiar with him. I've just started noticing some of his videos, but he's got a theory here and I want to know what you guys think of it. It's relating to canceling an order. So
isn't it frustrating when you get to the restaurant and the order's not ready and you have to wait? The rule of thumb that I've always heard is if you have to wait more minutes than the dollars that you're going to make on the order, then it's not worth it. You may as well cancel it and move on to something else.
So that's Practical Dasher is his name.
But do they not know that there's not, like, they changed this a while ago, but you wait 10 minutes. Once the 10-minute mark hits, you can unassign with no penalty.
Okay, but if they're making $10,
if
they're making $9, or if, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna wait still the 9 minutes. Like that's
so. But would you rather your cancellation? See, I've always been.
I don't cancel, so
and say I never cancel. Like if I take it, I own it. If I'm waiting at a restaurant, I just wait the 10 minutes. I cancel, and it doesn't affect your cancellation, right? That's just the way I've always worked.
I didn't know about the 10 minutes, so
yeah. Oh, see, I taught you something.
Or everybody else does. I don't do it.
Yeah, I did that today. And I learned that in my group. I'm so glad that feature. I accept something that you didn't. Was that me? Was there a noise?
I don't know.
Oh. That? Is that you,
know.
Tom?
Maybe Tom.
Not intentionally. My devices start shutting down at 9:15. So.
But yeah,
but
I mean,
a lot of
that's great.
But a lot of drivers don't know that, and I don't know if it's like an unwritten rule, but everybody listening, please, like, don't wait at a restaurant more than 10 minutes for DoorDash. Go to your cancellation button. It'll say you can cancel. You won't get paid, but it won't affect your cancellation rate. Just FYI.
Yeah,
that's good news.
Yeah. I mean, I see, like, what was the other thing I did see in here that I just wanted to bring up real quick, because I saw that Jennifer Montgomery says, don't forget that DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub were impacted by the CrowdStrike issue. If you're not familiar, over 2,000 flights were grounded last week. Tom's got a plane behind him. It's a grounded plane.
Shuttle.
But I did see that and it's so pathetic. I did see that they issued a $10 Uber Eats credit. And to me, I'm just like, dude, I'm literally at that point where I think, don't offer anything. If you're going to offer $10, you're just making it very public. Just don't offer anything. Just move on. Because that is like, to me, that's a slap in the face. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but to me, it's like, don't offer me $10. Because that just shows the negligence, and it kind of proves the point of, like, you don't care about anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let me see if we got through. Oops. So the only other one that I had, I mean, again, real quickly, I'll just say this about this, and then we have one last thing I wanted to mention, but Blackwolf Rideshare. We knew about these guys. They are the armed rideshare drivers. They are the ones that, you know, every one of them's armed. If you guys don't know Jeff, his handle used to be Uber Jeep AZ. It's now at Mike Drop Barbecue. Jeff is worth watching. He's got some great information he puts out. I was on one of his lives and I'm like, what do you think about Blackwolf coming? He goes, I think it's stupid because we're all already armed here in Arizona.
In Texas, you know, what do you think?
He's like, so you're going to pay more for Blackwolf, but he goes, 99% your Uber Lyft driver already has a gun. So
yeah.
Now they're facing regulatory things and they are having troubles getting into Arizona. However, they did just get approved to go into Chicago. I am blown away by this.
Weren't you
Like
talking
Blackwolf in Chicago, where they're already having shootouts as it is. Now you're gonna like
that one surprised me.
Yeah, but weren't you talking to the CEO or something of Blackwolf like months ago?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Well, about a year ago, yeah.
Yeah.
When they launched in Atlanta.
Was he on the podcast? I can't remember.
No. We were just communicating. I was trying to get him on. So I don't know if we could ever get him on here, but I'm sure we could do a piece to get him on. He's expanding pretty quick. I mean, he's in other states. These aren't the only ones he's talking about. But the last one I did want to say is that finally I've seen the value in the AI powered shopping cart. This is our last thing for the night. If you've always wondered what the caper cart does, because I have on Instacart, it does nothing. It basically scans the goods and it tells you how much you have in your cart. Okay, great. But they finally implemented something that makes it worthwhile. Now, again, it's going to kill some jobs, but it is now the virtual checkout. So now you can throw all your items in there and you can pay on the caper cart and leave.
Yeah.
So like for those, I mean, we're all familiar. If you do self-checkout, it can be a real, I don't know how you guys are, but like our grocery stores, like in the evenings, especially, they've started really lowering the amount of people working. So a lot of times there's nobody on a checkout lane. Everything is self-checkout like after 7.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really it's sad because a lot of times I go grocery shopping, I got a full cart. Those little self-checkouts are not real good with a full cart.
No.
And it sucks.
They finally opened the Amazon Fresh. I wanted it to die down, the newness of it to die down before I went to check it out. But supposedly their technology is kind of just like that. You like scan it.
They've been doing that they've been doing that for a few years.
Yeah.
Right. But now it's got the caper cart used to be that you'd put the items in and then it would say, hey, do you want to make burritos tonight? And it would suggest recipes and what other ingredients you could go find. So it was like promotions. And I was like trying to find the angle. But the new angle is that you throw it all in there. And when you're done, you just can put your credit card in and leave.
Pretty cool.
I mean, again, it's not technology, but it's something. It's something more than this stupid thing started out to be.
They were doing it in phases, I guess.
I feel like somebody tripped and fell last week and like was like, hey, why don't we allow them to just pay right on the cart? And they're like, great idea. Finally make it worth it to him. But yeah, I think that's all we had for the week. There was a ton of chat going on, you guys. I am really trying to get better about the chat. So starting next week, I will get better about the chat. But you guys are moving so quick sometimes. Like I have like, if you don't know the StreamYard interface that I see, we see banners, brand. And so I'm putting up other things and then I'll look at comments. I'll see like 59 new ones. And I'm like, wait, what? And so I go back. But yeah, we're trying to be way more inclusive. So we're going to stop between sections here moving forward and try and play chat catch up as best we can. Sure, Steve even says.
See, now you put pressure on yourself for next week.
I said try.
He knows you so well.
But I do always try. I mean, I'm trying. It's just hard.
Wait, so is that true that Target, they're getting rid of their self-checkout?
Yes.
Some of them are.
I would think that they would, like, places would put in more. Why are they getting rid of it? Too much theft?
The theft is outweighing the help that it does. So
well, you see a lot of news about that.
Didn't we like have a whole conversation about that like months ago, that self-checkout and theft isn't really worth the loss and wages from employees to do it? Didn't we have like a whole conversation about that?
Yeah, I'm sure we did. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but our self-checkouts, like if you have a problem and you got to alert attendant, I've stood there for 10 minutes before, so they're not watching. They're like not on their game at self-checkout. I don't know. What I will say is my grocery store, the Kroger nearest to me, finally put something in a locked case. We have never had these. I've seen them when I go to Vegas or other things, like the razors will be locked up, right? We were all getting used to these like locked up things, but I was shocked at what was locked up. So there's only one thing locked up so far, and I was shocked, and I'm going, what the hell is going on?
Is it baby formula?
No, it's laundry detergent.
Yes, Tide.
Yeah.
Tide is huge.
So I asked the police officer. We have an armed police officer here in Denver at all the grocery stores. You always have not a security guard, an armed police officer in downtown.
What?
Yeah. And so I asked him, I said, do you know? Because I was going to ask for the manager, and he's like, well, he said, people come in and they take like a baby bottle or like a Coke glass from like a restaurant, and they pop the lid off and fill it up with laundry detergent. So they're not even stealing it. They're just stealing what they need to go do their laundry.
What?
So, you guys, if this is what we've come to, this is so sad. Like,
the state of the economy.
And everybody says the economy is great, but we're stealing laundry detergent and Coke cups. Okay,
yeah, that's crazy.
How many times though, and this is anybody who does like any shopping, do you cringe when you get like baby formula because you know you have to go to a case and it's locked up and you have to go find someone to get baby formula, and like, oh man, like I cringe every time I see
ours had
that.
a little buzzer right there. It said push if you need laundry detergent. I'm thinking
they never come.
I was gonna say I know how my store works. Good luck, dude. There's never enough employees to do anything.
Yeah,
so like if I push that, I might as well just like go get a lawn chair out of the other aisle.
Yep.
And just plop it down and hang out. And
I do the annoying thing because I know a lot of stores it goes to like their earphones, and I'll be like, hit the button, hit the button, hit the button.
Oh no, you don't, do you?
Sometimes if I'm waiting a long time, like if I hit the button and I'm waiting and no one's coming, like I'll hit the button again and I'll wait a little while longer. I'm like, okay, no one's really coming. And I just start hitting the button because I'm like, then someone will come if they get annoyed.
So Jennifer Montgomery, no, it's not on I'm not far off Colfax, but it's not on Colfax, but all of the stores here do it. I think you're down in the Springs is what you said, but yeah, no, it's not on Colfax. It's actually on Quebec if you're familiar. So, but it doesn't matter. Any of them downtown do this. I mean, look at the city alone with Walmart shootings. We've had 3 different Walmart locations that have had shootings. So, I mean, for whatever reason, people get aggressive in our grocery stores here.
That's crazy.
Look, I live in Houston. We have 3 Walmart shootings a day, so that's
that's crazy. This is true, Ellen. By the way, the worker will walk by you and say, "Sorry, I don't have a key." That's so true.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's like it's almost like the union thing. It's like once you crack the door, and now like everything's gonna get locked up. Because here I was, and when I saw it, I went over to the razor aisle because I was like, did they start locking stuff? And they didn't. The razors were all out.
But how many times and this is Target now and also Walmart, like people just go off on the people at the door looking at like the receipts. Like how many times do you see that like constantly going into Walmarts and Target? People are like, I'm not showing you anything. And they just keep on walking and they like start yelling at the person after them. And it's like a nightmare. Like does the door person really even deter theft? I don't think it does.
Yeah, I don't know. But yet they're not going to complain when you go to Costco. Because Costco, you have to stand in line and give them the receipt over here.
I know. I guess maybe because it's Walmart. I don't know.
Yeah. Different clientele.
Walmart, where everything's like
again,
$1.
we have a Denver police officer at the grocery store, and there are people who still take a cart half full, and it's not paid for, and run.
That's crazy.
I'm like
with the shopping cart. Like, how do you get very far with the shopping cart?
You don't. You get into the parking lot, you hope the cop doesn't chase you or the bell doesn't go off.
It depends on how fat the cop is.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them, I've even scoped it. A lot of them will wait till like 2 or 3 other people are leaving and then they'll just kind of scoot out. So it's like the bell goes off, but 4 people are leaving.
Yeah.
The cop always knows which one did it.
That's
Did you guys hear, and this was a couple of months ago, did you hear that like the Spark driver who she did the scan code at the register and she walked out and like the line of people was like ridiculous. So she kind of just kept walking and like waved at the person at the door with like her phone. So she kept going and she was like literally 2 miles and a cop comes up behind her with the lights flashing. And she's like, what the heck did I do? They thought she stole like the whole entire thing of her Spark shop, but they thought she stole it, but it was actually a shop start. Like she had actually show her phone with the Spark app and everything. And then they had to bring her back to the store. It was like a mess.
Wow. Yeah. But they think she was waving like, thank you.
Why didn't they stop her then?
I guess because she had like a whole line of customers and she just wanted to like go. So, and she thought that the person at the door recognized her because she was there all the time. So she like waved her phone at them saying like, hi. And I think I don't know. The cop literally pulled her over like 2 miles down the road because Walmart called her in as theft. I mean, it's not funny, but it kind of is.
Oh my goodness!
I mean,
Steve, I've got to go, but
we all do.
Yeah,
I'm wrapping us up right now. I know,
okay,
I know you had to about the hour. I realized we went over, and we are so bad about that, you guys. We're gonna get better, trust me. Season 2. Can I read all the comments, and we're gonna end in an hour.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Well, folks, that's a wrap for the week. Check out Michelle's groups. They're both listed below.
Please do.
They're both awesome. They are very populated, but they're not, like we were saying, that's not a free for all. You're not going to get lost in a bunch of spam and crap. It is moderated very well. So if you're a DoorDasher, you can check them out. They're both listed below. Check out Legal Rideshare. Save that as your digital card. Check out Display Ride. And thanks for joining us live or on the replay. And until next Thursday, be safe, earn smart, and Kim has something to say.
Kindness is always free.
She didn't know for a minute. Good night, guys.
Right. Snapping at the tempo.